Ladies and gentlemen, in this world there is one fundamental truth that stands above all others. What you repeatedly do shapes who you become. It's not the moments of ease that define you, nor the comfortable stretches where everything aligns. It's those moments when everything is against you, when the noise of doubt echoes through your mind, and when the path forward is clouded by resistance, that truly shape your destiny. Mindset as the foundation is the bedrock upon which everything you do is built. It is the lens through which you see the world, interpret challenges, and ultimately decide whether you will rise above them or succumb to them. The mind is not merely a passive observer of your life, it is an active participant in creating your reality. When we talk about hard work, discipline, and perseverance, we often overlook the essential ingredient that enables all of these actions: your mindset. Without the right mindset, no amount of effort will lead to sustainable success. The human brain is extraordinarily powerful, and what you focus on shapes the way you experience the world. Neuroscience tells us that the brain is malleable. This is known as neuroplasticity. The connections between neurons in your brain aren't fixed. Every thought, every belief, every decision you make strengthens certain neural pathways while weakening others. So, when you cultivate a mindset of resilience, determination, and unwavering commitment, you begin to rewire your brain in favor of these qualities. But this doesn't happen overnight. It requires intentional focus and a daily commitment to shifting your mental state. The key here is understanding that your mind is not something that happens to you, it's something you can shape and control. Your mindset influences everything from how you handle adversity to how you respond to success. If your mindset is rooted in fear, doubt, or limitation, you will see the world through that lens. Every challenge will feel like an insurmountable obstacle, every setback a confirmation that you're not good enough. However, if your mindset is rooted in growth, possibility, and self-belief, challenges transform into opportunities for expansion. Setbacks become feedback, a sign that you're learning, adjusting, and moving forward. It's this mindset that allows high performers to keep going when the road gets tough. They don't see obstacles as roadblocks, they see them as stepping stones. You will encounter difficulties along your journey. You will face moments when things don't go according to plan. There will be times when the results aren't immediate, when the effort doesn't seem to yield the reward you expect. This is where mindset becomes your greatest asset. In those moments, your mindset determines whether you will give up or keep going. If you've cultivated a mindset that embraces challenges as part of the growth process, you will continue to push forward even when you don't feel like it. Your mind will remind you that success is not linear, and that persistence, not perfection, is the key to breakthrough. At the heart of a powerful mindset is the belief that you are in control of your life. This means taking full responsibility for your actions, your responses, and your results. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that external factors dictate your success, your upbringing, your circumstances, your environment. But the most successful people in the world understand that the ultimate determinant of their success is not what happens to them, but how they respond to what happens. They don't wait for the perfect conditions. They create them with their mindset. When you take full responsibility for your life, you stop blaming external circumstances for your lack of progress. Instead, you ask yourself empowering questions. What can I do right now to move forward? What lesson can I learn from this situation? How can I grow from this experience? By consistently reframing challenges in this way, you begin to see obstacles as opportunities for growth rather than insurmountable barriers. This mindset shift alone is enough to radically change the trajectory of your life. One of the most transformative aspects of mindset is its role in shaping your identity. When you decide to adopt the mindset of someone who will not be outworked, you begin to view yourself through that lens. You no longer see yourself as someone who might succeed. You see yourself as someone who is inevitably going to succeed because of your mindset and effort. This identity shift is crucial. It is the moment when you stop asking, "Can I do this?" and start knowing, "I will do this." This belief is not based on arrogance, but on a deep trust in your ability to adapt, learn, and keep pushing forward no matter what. This shift in identity also allows you to embrace failure in a completely different way. Failure is no longer something to avoid or fear. Instead, it becomes a natural part of the learning process. You understand that every mistake, every failure is just feedback. This is why people with the right mindset can persist in the face of failure while others give up. Their belief in their ultimate success is unwavering, even in the most difficult times. It's essential to remember that mindset is not static. It's something that requires daily practice, just like any skill. The more you cultivate a mindset of growth, resilience, and determination, the stronger it becomes. The key is consistency. If you want to succeed, you need to constantly check in with your mindset, reaffirm your beliefs, adjust when necessary, and remind yourself that challenges are part of the process. Mindset is everything. It's the foundation that supports every decision you make, every action you take, and every result you achieve. When you commit to developing a mindset that refuses to be outworked, that embraces challenges and failure as part of the journey, you unlock the ultimate power to shape your destiny. Success is not just about hard work, it's about having the right mindset to back it up. Hard work is not just a matter of physical effort, it's deeply connected to how we engage with our brains. Neuroscience has shown us that effort, particularly when applied repeatedly over time, actually rewires the brain. This concept, known as neuroplasticity, means that our brain isn't a fixed entity, instead dynamic organ that adapts, changes, and grows based on how we use it. When you push yourself to work harder, when you choose to persist through discomfort, the brain responds by creating stronger neural connections that enable you to perform better and more efficiently. But this rewiring process doesn't just happen automatically, it requires intentional effort, consistency, and time. When you repeatedly engage in challenging work, particularly in areas that push your cognitive and emotional limits, you are actually enhancing the brain's capacity for growth. Think about it this way: just as lifting weights strengthens muscles, engaging in focused, difficult work strengthens the brain's muscles, its neural circuits. This is why people who have developed the habit of hard work, who regularly push themselves past their comfort zone, become more adept at handling difficult situations. Their brains become wired for resilience and creativity, which is why they can navigate obstacles more effectively than those who avoid discomfort. But here's where it gets truly fascinating. The brain doesn't just get better at the task you're working on. It actually begins to strengthen cognitive processes that contribute to broader aspects of success. When you consistently practice a difficult skill, whether that's problem solving, learning new information, or mastering physical challenges, your brain increases its capacity to process information, make decisions, and maintain focus. So the act of hard work is not isolated to one area of life. It creates a ripple effect that impacts how you approach every challenge you face. This is why people who are disciplined in one area of life, such as their career, often find that their overall cognitive functioning improves, making it easier for them to adapt and perform well in other areas, such as relationships, learning, or personal development. But the process isn't just about neural connections, it's also about the brain's response to challenges and stress. Neuroscientific studies have shown that when we face adversity, our brains release a range of chemicals, including cortisol, which is commonly associated with stress. While too much stress can be harmful, a moderate amount of stress, when managed correctly, actually stimulates the brain's growth and adaptability. This phenomenon is known as eustress, a form of stress that leads to growth rather than burnout. When you push through challenging situations, when you persist despite setbacks or difficulties, your brain grows more resilient. The key is learning to regulate your response to stress and recognizing that pressure and discomfort are often the very conditions in which growth takes place. When you choose to embrace hard work, you're not just strengthening your ability to handle one task, you're fundamentally reshaping how your brain handles all tasks. Through the process of repeated effort, the brain begins to develop what psychologists call a growth mindset, the belief that abilities and intelligence can be developed through hard work, dedication, and learning from failure. This is in contrast to a fixed mindset, which assumes that intelligence and talent are innate and unchangeable. The more you engage in effortful, purposeful work, the more you reinforce the belief that you are capable of improvement, that you can achieve mastery through effort. One of the most profound aspects of this process is that your brain not only gets better at the specific tasks you work on, but it also becomes more adept at handling challenges in general. When you persist through difficulty, you develop mental toughness and ability to stay focused, maintain your drive, and stay calm under pressure. Over time, this quality becomes ingrained in your brain's wiring, allowing you to handle even more challenging situations with greater ease and efficiency. There is a catch: hard work without focus can be counterproductive. It's not just about putting in the hours or exerting effort in a haphazard manner. The brain responds best when effort is combined with intentionality and focus. Simply going through the motions without paying attention to how you're approaching the task won't trigger the same neurological changes as when you're truly engaged in the work. This is why successful people aren't necessarily those who work the hardest in terms of sheer hours. They are often those who can maintain focus, learn from their mistakes, and consistently refine their approach. As you continue to challenge yourself, you also need to learn to embrace mistakes and setbacks as part of the process. The brain doesn't only learn from success, it learns from two. Every mistake you make serves as data for the brain to analyze and improve upon. This iterative process of trial, error, and adjustment is what leads to mastery. Each failure strengthens your ability to solve problems, adapt to new situations, and develop resilience. The brain learns to recognize patterns, adapt strategies, and ultimately perform tasks with more skill and precision. This is the beauty of hard work. It's not just about achieving immediate results. It's about what happens inside your brain as you engage in sustained effort. It's about becoming more adaptable, more focused, and more capable of handling whatever challenges come your way. This is the essence of growth. As you push yourself, your brain grows, and in turn, you become more powerful, more capable, and more prepared for the future. When you commit to hard work, you're not just putting in the hours, you are literally reshaping your brain. You are increasing your capacity to handle difficulty, to grow from failure, and to continue improving over time. In this way, hard work is not just an external action, it's an internal transformation that makes you more than just a product of your circumstances, it makes you the architect of your future. The idea of overcoming fear and resistance is deeply intertwined with the way the brain processes challenges, discomfort, and change. From a neurological perspective, resistance and fear are not just emotional responses, they are deeply embedded in our survival mechanisms. The brain is wired to protect us from perceived threats, which is why it often reacts with fear when we step into the unknown or face situations that require significant effort. This is a natural and evolutionary response designed to keep us safe, but it can also become a major barrier when it comes to personal growth and achievement. If you want to excel, you must learn to overcome this inherent resistance and fear, understanding that these emotional responses are simply signals, not roadblocks. Fear is often driven by the brain's amygdala, the part of the brain responsible for processing emotions and detecting potential threats. When you encounter a challenge that seems daunting, the amygdala perceives it as a threat and triggers the fight or flight response. In this state, the brain shifts focus away from higher-level thinking and problem-solving and focuses on survival. This causes a narrowing of your mental resources. Your thoughts become more focused on avoiding discomfort or danger rather than taking purposeful action. This is why fear often leads to paralysis or procrastination. When faced with a difficult task or a new endeavor, instead of acting, the brain will want to retreat to what feels safe and familiar. The key to overcoming resistance and fear lies in recognizing that these feelings are not necessarily telling you to stop, they're simply warning you that you are stepping outside your comfort zone. The moment you choose to face these fears rather than avoid them, you are engaging in a process of rewiring your brain. This is where mindset becomes critical. The more you practice stepping into discomfort, the less power fear and resistance hold over you. Every time you push through the initial anxiety or hesitation and take action, you signal to your brain that discomfort is not something to fear, but something to embrace as part of growth. Neuroscience provides fascinating insight into this process. When you experience fear, your brain doesn't just respond passively, it can adapt to new experiences. The process of habituation happens when you repeatedly expose yourself to something that once triggered fear or anxiety. Over time, as you face fear head-on and continue to act despite it, the brain becomes less sensitive to the emotional charge associated with that fear. You begin to desensitize yourself to the very thing that once felt paralyzing. This is why people who push through fear often find that what once seemed impossible becomes more manageable over time. They learn to tolerate discomfort, push past their own mental limits, and expand their capacity to face new challenges. But it's not just fear that you need to overcome, it's resistance. Resistance is the subtle, often invisible force that holds us back from doing the things we know we should be doing. Resistance manifests in many forms: procrastination, self-doubt, perfectionism, distraction, and self-sabotage. It is often the brain's way of maintaining the status quo, keeping things familiar, and avoiding the effort required for change. Resistance can feel like an overwhelming force, as though every step forward requires more energy and effort than it should. But understanding the nature of resistance is the first step in conquering it. Resistance thrives in the gap between where you are now and where you want to be. It feeds on uncertainty, lack of clarity, and fear of failure. The more ambiguous or overwhelming a task seems, the stronger the resistance becomes. The brain tends to avoid effort when the rewards are not immediate or clear. This is where discipline and consistency come into play. When you break down large, intimidating goals into smaller, more manageable tasks, resistance loses its power. Each small action you take, no matter how insignificant it may seem, weakens the grip that resistance has on you. The brain also responds differently to the rewards associated with overcoming fear and resistance. When you push through discomfort and take action, your brain releases dopamine, the chemical associated with pleasure and motivation. This creates a positive feedback loop. The more you act in the face of fear, the more your brain learns to associate discomfort with a sense of accomplishment. In this way, resistance and fear can be transformed into sources of motivation. The brain begins to shift its focus from the threat of failure to the possibility of growth and success. The more you act, the more you reprogram your brain to seek out discomfort as a path to improvement. Another key aspect of overcoming fear and resistance is learning to differentiate between productive discomfort and destructive fear. Not all fear is the same. There is a difference between fear that signals true danger and fear that arises from the anticipation of doing something difficult or unfamiliar. Productive discomfort is a sign that you are stretching beyond your current capabilities and entering the realm of growth. Destructive fear, on the other hand, often stems from negative thoughts about failure, rejection, or judgment. It's crucial to learn to identify which fears are serving you and which are holding you back. The more you can differentiate between them, the more effectively you can move past unnecessary fears and focus on the growth-oriented challenges that will take you closer to your goals. Overcoming fear and resistance is not about eliminating these feelings entirely, it's about learning how to function in spite of them. Fear and resistance will always be part of the human experience. But the more you develop the habit of acting despite these feelings, the less power they have over you. This is how you build resilience, mental toughness, and the ability to persevere in the face of difficulty. The key is not to wait for the fear to subside or for resistance to disappear, it's to move forward in spite of them, knowing that each step you take rewires your brain, strengthens your resolve, and brings you closer to becoming the person you are meant to be. Energy and emotion play an undeniably powerful role in shaping your capacity for hard work and achievement. Often when we think about success, we focus solely on the tangible aspects, skills, knowledge, and discipline. However, beneath the surface, it is your energy and emotional state that ultimately determine how effectively you can sustain effort over time. Every action you take, every decision you make is fueled by a certain level of energy, and this energy is deeply influenced by your emotions. How you feel directly impacts how you work, how you think, and how you perform. At a physiological level, energy and emotion are intimately connected. The brain is constantly processing emotions, and those emotions influence the release of chemicals in your body, such as dopamine, cortisol, and serotonin, which can either fuel or drain your motivation. For example, when you feel inspired, excited, or driven by a sense of purpose, your brain releases dopamine, what we commonly refer to as the reward chemical. This motivates you to continue working and pushing forward, even when the task at hand seems difficult. On the flip side, negative emotions such as fear, frustration, or overwhelm trigger the release of cortisol, a stress hormone that can drain your energy and leave you feeling exhausted or mentally blocked. Understanding the relationship between energy and emotion is key to unlocking your potential for sustained effort. Your emotional state doesn't just affect your short-term focus, it has long-term consequences on your ability to perform. When you allow negative emotions to dominate, you're likely to experience burnout, procrastination, or a lack of motivation. Your energy is depleted by the constant mental battle between your desires and your doubts, leaving little room for the consistent, focused action that success demands. On the other hand, when you cultivate positive emotions such as enthusiasm, optimism, and gratitude, your energy reserves are replenished, and you naturally feel more capable of taking on challenges. One of the most important aspects of energy management is learning how to regulate your emotions. Most people are reactive to their emotions. They feel something and immediately act upon it, whether that's letting frustration dictate their actions or allowing self-doubt to paralyze them. But emotional regulation is about creating a space between the stimulus, the situation, the thought, the challenge, and the response, how you act upon it. It's about recognizing the emotion and choosing how you want to respond. Instead of reacting impulsively to negative emotions, you can learn to reframe them in ways that are constructive. For example, instead of viewing fear as a sign to stop, you can choose to view it as a signal that you are pushing beyond your comfort zone and growing. Instead of letting frustration derail your progress, you can use it as a source of motivation to prove to yourself that you can overcome challenges. Developing emotional intelligence, your ability to recognize, understand, and manage your emotions is one of the most powerful tools you can possess. Emotional intelligence enables you to stay calm under pressure, maintain focus in the face of adversity, and persevere when you encounter setbacks. It helps you stay connected to your why, the deeper purpose that drives your actions, and avoid being swayed by momentary emotional fluctuations. High emotional intelligence allows you to keep your energy aligned with your goals, even when circumstances are difficult. Another key element of energy management is understanding that your emotional state is often a reflection of the environment you create for yourself. We are not only influenced by our internal emotional states, but also by external factors like our physical surroundings, relationships, and daily habits. If you are surrounded by negativity or constantly put yourself in environments that drain you, it will be difficult to maintain the energy needed to push through challenges. The same goes for your relationships. If you allow yourself to be around people who drain your emotional energy or who don't support your ambitions, your ability to maintain motivation will be compromised. On the other hand, when you cultivate an environment of positivity, support, and inspiration, it becomes much easier to sustain the energy required for hard work. One of the most effective ways to regulate your energy is by practicing self-care and creating rituals that restore you. It's easy to become so focused on achieving goals that you neglect your body's need for rest, recovery, and rejuvenation. But your energy levels are deeply tied to how well you take care of yourself, both physically and mentally. Regular exercise, healthy nutrition, quality sleep, and mindfulness practices like meditation can all help to regulate your energy and ensure that you are operating at your peak. It's not just about physical rest, it's also about mental and emotional rest. Taking breaks, allowing yourself to relax, and engaging in activities that bring you joy and fulfillment are crucial for maintaining high levels of energy over the long term. Emotional resilience is key in maintaining energy over time. Resilience isn't just about bouncing back from setbacks, it's about sustaining your emotional well-being through the ups and downs of your journey. Building resilience is a skill you can develop through consistent practice. When you face adversity with the mindset that challenges are part of the process, and when you learn to manage your emotional responses rather than be overwhelmed by them, you build the emotional strength needed to keep going. Over time, this resilience becomes a natural part of who you are. It strengthens your energy reserves and allows you to continue moving forward, even when faced with setbacks or difficulties. The power of emotional energy is not just about staying motivated or focused, it's about recognizing that energy is the fuel that drives everything you do. When you are emotionally aligned with your goals, when your energy is invested in the tasks at hand, you begin to operate from a place of flow. The work doesn't feel like a chore. It becomes a source of vitality. You tap into a deeper well of motivation that doesn't rely on external rewards, but is intrinsically connected to your passion and your sense of purpose. By mastering the relationship between energy and emotion, you unlock the ability to work smarter, not harder, and to sustain that effort for as long as it takes to achieve your vision. The ability to stay focused is one of the most powerful skills you can develop on your journey toward success. It is the ability to direct your attention to what matters most, ignoring distractions and avoiding the temptation to deviate from your goals. Focus is not merely about concentration, it's about aligning your mental and emotional energy with your purpose. It's about understanding that every choice you make, every thought you entertain, and every action you take either brings you closer to or further from your desired outcome. In a world filled with constant distractions, social media, emails, personal crises, and the never-ending stream of information, being able to maintain a high level of focus is increasingly rare and increasingly valuable. At the neurological level, focus involves the activation of the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for higher cognitive functions such as decision-making, planning, and impulse control. When you focus on a task, your prefrontal cortex, you filter out irrelevant information and concentrate on what's important. However, the challenge is that the brain is constantly being bombarded with stimuli. With the proliferation of digital technology, our attention is fragmented more than ever before. Studies have shown that humans are now exposed to an overwhelming amount of information daily, which leads to what is called cognitive overload. This overload can make it more difficult to concentrate for extended periods, and if we are not intentional about how we direct our focus, it's easy to become overwhelmed and mentally fatigued. Building the capacity to focus requires discipline and training, just like building physical strength. It's not something that comes naturally to most people. It takes effort, practice, and intention. Focus is not something that can be maintained passively. It's an active skill that requires constant reinforcement. When you engage in a task, whether it's working on a project, studying, or pursuing a passion, you are making a choice to direct your mental energy toward that task. This means you have to be aware of where your attention is being pulled. Every distraction, whether external or internal, takes away from the energy you could be using to push forward. Learning to ignore these distractions and return your focus to what truly matters is crucial for sustained progress. One of the key aspects of focus is the ability to prioritize. We live in a world that often demands our attention on multiple fronts, and it can be tempting to split our focus across many different tasks. However, multitasking is a myth. The human brain does not actually perform multiple tasks simultaneously. Instead, when you try to multitask, your brain is rapidly switching back and forth between tasks, which can reduce your efficiency and make it harder to concentrate on any one thing. Prioritizing is about choosing what is most important in the moment and giving it your full attention. It's about understanding that not everything demands your immediate focus, and that by focusing on what matters most, you will achieve better results in less time. One of the most effective ways to improve focus is through the practice of mindfulness. Mindfulness involves becoming fully aware of the present moment without judgment. It's about training yourself to notice when your mind begins to wander and gently bringing your attention back to the task at hand. By practicing mindfulness, you strengthen your ability to control your attention, which improves your focus over time. Mindfulness can be practiced through meditation, deep breathing exercises, or simply by being more aware of your thoughts and emotions as they arise. The more you practice being present, the less likely you are to get caught up in distractions or emotional fluctuations. In addition to mindfulness, setting clear goals and breaking them down into smaller, manageable tasks is essential for maintaining focus. When you have a clear vision of what you want to achieve, your mind becomes more focused on the steps necessary to reach that goal. This clarity helps you avoid the paralysis that can come from feeling overwhelmed by a large project. Breaking down a big goal into smaller, more achievable tasks not only makes the goal feel more manageable, but it also creates a sense of accomplishment as you complete each step. This momentum builds focus and motivation and keeps you moving forward, even when the task seems daunting. Another powerful technique for maintaining focus is time management. The way you structure your time directly affects your ability to concentrate. One common method for improving focus is the Pomodoro technique, which involves working in focused intervals, typically 25 minutes followed by a short break. This method helps you maintain high levels of concentration without burning out, and the regular breaks provide a moment to reset, keeping your mind fresh and your energy levels high. Scheduling your day in blocks of time dedicated to specific tasks ensures that you are intentional with your focus and not allowing your attention to drift throughout the day. It's also important to recognize that focus is deeply connected to your emotional state. If you are feeling anxious, stressed, or distracted by negative emotions, it can be much harder to concentrate on the task at hand. Emotional regulation plays a critical role in maintaining focus, as your emotions can either enhance or impair your ability to direct your attention. When you are emotionally calm and centered, your brain is better able to concentrate. Conversely, when you're emotionally scattered, it becomes much harder to focus. Practices like deep breathing, journaling, or even taking a short walk can help you regulate your emotions, bringing your attention back to where it needs to be. Physical health also has a direct impact on your ability to focus. Lack of sleep, poor nutrition, and lack of exercise can all contribute to mental fog, lack of concentration, and decreased cognitive function. When you take care of your body, you provide it with the energy it needs to perform at its best. Regular physical activity, proper nutrition, and getting enough sleep are essential for maintaining the cognitive function necessary for sustained focus. Focus requires a strong sense of purpose. When you are deeply connected to your why, the reason behind why you are pursuing a particular goal, you are much more likely to stay focused on the task at hand. Purpose fuels motivation and makes the work feel meaningful even when it gets tough. The clearer you are about the impact of your work and the benefits that will come from achieving your goal, the easier it becomes to maintain focus and keep your energy directed toward it. In a world full of distractions, the ability to stay focused is a skill that will set you apart. It's not about being perfect, it's about being consistent, staying mindful, and regularly redirecting your attention to what matters most. Focus, when cultivated, becomes a powerful tool that will propel you toward success, allowing you to navigate through distractions, stay aligned with your goals, and make consistent progress, no matter how difficult the journey may be. The idea of working relentlessly and not allowing others to outwork you is rooted in the principle of consistency. Achieving extraordinary results is not about occasional bursts of intense effort, it's about consistently showing up and putting in the work over time. The real difference between those who achieve and those who fall short is often not talent, intelligence, or luck. It's the ability to maintain effort and discipline even when things get tough. Most people are willing to work hard for short periods, but the true test of success lies in whether you can sustain that effort day in and day out for months, years, or even decades. From a psychological perspective, consistency is about building habits that reinforce your goals. Human behavior is driven largely by habits, patterns of thought, and action that become automatic over time. These habits, good or bad, shape our future. When you make hard work a part of your daily routine, it becomes less about willpower and more about commitment. Over time, your brain begins to automate. The process, meaning that you don't have to fight your own resistance as much. You begin to act in alignment with your goals without even thinking about it. This is the power of consistency. Once you make something a habit, it requires less mental energy to execute. One of the most powerful tools for developing consistency is creating a structured plan. The brain craves routine and clarity, and when you have a well-defined plan, it's much easier to stay focused on the process rather than being distracted by obstacles. The key to success is not in waiting for motivation to strike, but in committing to the process and following through on it day after day, regardless of how you feel in the moment. Motivation is often fleeting, but discipline and structure keep you moving forward, even when motivation wanes. Consistency requires that you not only have a clear vision of your goal, but also an understanding of the daily steps necessary to reach that goal. Consistency is also linked to a long-term mindset. Many people start off strong, full of enthusiasm, but their energy fades as time goes on, particularly when results don't materialize as quickly as expected. Success doesn't happen overnight, and you must be willing to play the long game. It's easy to become discouraged when progress is slow, but the most successful individuals are those who understand that incremental progress over time compounds into extraordinary results. It's the principle of the slight edge that small daily improvements compounded over time lead to massive long-term success. This requires patience and the willingness to trust the process, even when it doesn't seem like much is happening in the short term. One of the challenges of consistency is managing the inevitable setbacks that will come your way. No journey is free from obstacles, and there will be moments when things don't go according to plan. These setbacks can test your commitment and derail your progress if you let them. However, the ability to bounce back and keep going despite adversity is what separates those who succeed from those who don't. This resilience is built through consistency itself by committing to your goals and showing up even when you don't feel like it. Every time you continue pushing forward in the face of difficulty, you reinforce your sense of self-discipline and strengthen your resolve. Over time, these challenges become less intimidating, and you begin to see them as part of the natural process of achieving success. Another key aspect of consistency is learning to measure progress in a way that keeps you motivated. Often when we set big goals, the distance between where we are and where we want to be can seem insurmountable. It's easy to become discouraged when the gap feels too wide. However, success is not just about the end result, it's about the progress you make along the way. By breaking your larger goals into smaller, manageable milestones, you can track your progress more easily. Each small win becomes a source of motivation, reinforcing the importance of staying consistent. Celebrating those small victories helps maintain momentum and reminds you that you are moving in the right direction. Consistency is not just about showing up, it's about showing up with a high level of focus and energy. It's not enough to simply put in time, you must also ensure that you are working with intent and purpose. This requires that you constantly evaluate and refine your approach to ensure that your effort is as effective as possible. Consistent effort doesn't mean mindlessly going through the motions, it means committing to continuous improvement. Every day offers the opportunity to get better, to refine your methods, and to make incremental adjustments that move you closer to your goal. Consistency also involves learning from failure and using it as a stepping stone toward improvement. Failure is an inevitable part of any journey, but how you respond to failure will determine whether you continue to progress or get stuck. The most successful people are not those who avoid failure, but those who embrace it as a part of the learning process. Each failure is an opportunity to gather data, reassess your approach, and come back stronger. This mindset shifts failure from being something to fear into something you actively seek in order to learn and grow. The more consistently you embrace failure as a learning tool, the more resilient and adaptive you become. One of the greatest benefits of consistency is the compound effect it has on your self-confidence. As you keep showing up, as you continue to put in the work day after day, you begin to build an internal belief in yourself and your ability to achieve your goals. This self-confidence doesn't come from external validation, but from the knowledge that you are putting in the necessary effort to succeed. The more you show up, the more you reinforce the belief that you are capable of achieving whatever you set your mind to. Consistency builds momentum, and with momentum comes not just results, but a deeper, unshakable belief in your ability to outwork anyone who stands in your way. The principle of consistency teaches you that success is not an event, it is a process. It's the small, seemingly insignificant actions repeated over time that accumulate to produce extraordinary results. The difference between those who achieve their goals and those who don't often comes down to a simple commitment, the decision to keep going, to never stop, to show up every single day, even when the results aren't immediate. This is where real success is forged, through a consistent commitment to doing the work, even when it seems difficult, boring, or unglamorous. And it is in this consistent effort that you will find that no one can outwork you, not because you're the most talented, but because you're the one who refuses to quit. In conclusion, the journey to success is not defined by moments of brilliance, but by the quiet, consistent effort you put in every single day. It's the relentless drive to outwork your own doubts, to push through fear and resistance, and to sustain your focus despite distractions. The true measure of your success is not in the intensity of your effort, but in your ability to remain consistent, even when the path seems long and uncertain. As you move forward, remember that it's not the occasional surge of energy or fleeting bursts of motivation that will get you where you want to go. It's your ability to show up, day in and day out, with discipline and intention. Whether you're overcoming fear, managing your energy, or fighting through mental and emotional barriers, the key to outworking anyone around you is the commitment to keep moving, to keep improving, and to keep improving, and to keep pushing beyond your limits. Success is built in the small, steady actions compounded over time. It's the result of refusing to be outworked, not because you're waiting for the right opportunity, but because you've created it through your unwavering dedication. The road to achieving your goals will be full of challenges and setbacks, but as long as you stay focused, maintain your energy, and consistently put in the effort, you will not be stopped. So make a promise to yourself you will not be outworked. Not today, not tomorrow, and not ever. The grind may be hard, the day's long, but in the end, it's your unwavering consistency and work ethic that will carry you to victory.